Belts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness.
By Landry, Ariza drop down. Kobe! Oh! Up high! Down hard! Kobe Bryant!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! Kawhi aggressive to the rack.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024-25 NBA season. Before we get started, you know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube for all things NBA, LA basketball, especially LA pro basketball. Live from Los Angeles, as always. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Any donation is appreciated. We got Clippers, Bulls tonight in Los Angeles. Game didn't actually take place in Los Angeles, though, but as far as Lakers or Clippers, my Clippers getting back in the win column, snapping a 3-game losing streak with the win against the Chicago Bulls at the United Center, 122-117. We're now 2-3 on the road trip, and man, this was not the most pleasant game to watch. I will say the first half was incredibly frustrating. It was a roller coaster of a game for James Harden in particular, who ended up icing the game with the huge step back three. But my God, he had some moments in this game where I literally was like, I cannot wait till this game is good. I cannot wait till this is over. Like, James Harden and Kawhi, they play methodically. Let's put it that way. But at the end of the day, we got the job done. Man, where do I even begin? I guess we'll start with Kawhi because he came back, right? And that's what I was watching. In the first half, we did not give Kawhi the ball like that, especially in the first quarter. He shot 3 times in the first quarter and was 2 for 3. And it just feels as though we are still, at least in the first half, this is just the way we came out. We were not playing through Kawhi. We're still treating this like James Harden is the number one option. And he is the main ball handler, but he is not the number one option. And at some point, we need to slowly become a Kawhi team. You know what I'm saying? James has done his part, but James also has to let go. He needs to let Kawhi do it. He can't. So what I'm saying is first quarter, way too much Harden ball. The first half, James was terrible. He was literally dribbling all over the place, doing nothing, just dribbling in play, shooting step backs, bricking, turning the ball over, not playing defense at all, just sitting in no man's land in help. It was horrific. And then Kawhi, it just felt methodical, but he wasn't getting enough shots up. He was literally 3 for 6 at halftime, 3 for 6. So, yeah, ended at what, 6 for 14? So, yeah, 3 for 8 in the second half. My takeaway going into the half was we're not playing through Kawhi enough. And then the first 6 possessions of the second half, we go to Kawhi Leonard and we get good shots. We get James Harden with a wide open 3 off a Kawhi double team. We get him getting into his mid-range, and the Bulls called a timeout. So that was really good to see. Kawhi Leonard was on some sort of minutes restriction. I believe the number was likely 32. I haven't heard any of the post-game chatter. He ended at 33 minutes, but we pulled him with like 3 minutes left, and it was on James Harden and the fellas to get the job done, and they did. And James Harden's 20-point third quarter was the big difference. That's why I did not give him player of the game at Locked On. I said it was Amir Coffey for me. So I'll talk about the bench in a sec, but you can say James Harden was the player of the game. He made the big shot. He had a 20-point quarter. And I think the big thing with James is he plays the hard way. He's always played the hard way, which is on ball all the time, all eyes on me, creating from the top of the key, creating from behind the 3. But when he can just shoot that catch and shoot 3 without hesitation, it really helps him and makes things easier for him. And I thought in that third quarter, he had a really quick trigger playing off of guys like Bogies, Ben Simmons, and Kawhi. And he started catching fire, and he ended up shooting 7 for 14 from 3 in the game. So really good three-point shooting game from James. Honestly, a very good shooting game if you consider what his shooting splits are this season. He was 9 for 20 from the field, 7 for 14 from 3, 5 for 5 from the foul line, and had 30 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 6 turnovers in 36 minutes of play. Our leading scorer and our leading minutes getter and our leading minutes getter. James continues to produce. I thought it was a rough watch, though. And again, that's coming from me, who's not a fan of the way James Harden plays basketball and very public about that. But defensively, it was a bad one. I mean, I think James has been pretty good defensively over the last couple of weeks, but this was a rough one. As far as Kawhi, he ended with 17 points. He had some really good defensive plays in the third quarter where he was doing a good job collapsing and using his hands well. I thought he had a pretty good defensive game overall, but he still looks a little bit slow closing out and just getting to loose balls. There were times where I thought Kawhi would make an effort and he didn't. His transition defense in the first half, he and James Harden, whenever they missed or turned the ball over, was completely pathetic. I literally tweeted out in the first half, Harden and Kawhi are hurting this team right now. Everybody else is playing well. Derek Jones, Ben Simmons, Bogey, Amir, Zoo, Chris Dunn. These guys were just, I don't know. They were slowing everything down. And I think our whole team outside of Nico and Ben Simmons, they all just don't move the ball fast enough for me. Like, it's just everybody wants to put the ball on the floor all the time. And this is something I mentioned on Locked On just now. And it's a problem. It's a thing all over at every level. Everybody wants to put the ball on the floor. I have to tell my players it all the time. And you know what's funny? I was guilty of it as a kid too, so I can't even hate. It's the different emphasis on and ability of what you can do dribbling the basketball nowadays in this sport. And it's fun. It's fun to dribble the ball. It's fun to put it on the floor. But sometimes the pass is better. Sometimes you don't even have to dribble. Just keep moving it. And there were times with Kawhi, and this is not just a post-injury thing. This is something that I noticed with Toronto. He's not, I don't know if it's an unwilling passer. He's not looking up. He doesn't trust his passing ability, or he just doesn't want to pass. But there are times where there's a guy like one pass away wide open. He just doesn't pass, or just waits till like he sees if he's got a shot and then he passes when it's too late. But several times tonight, Kawhi missed an open guy. Several times. And like one pass away, I'm talking. So that's something I've always seen with him. But, 17 points for him, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals and a block. So active hands, love to see that. 3 turnovers, 6 for 14 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line in 33 minutes. But let's go to, the sequence of events. As far as major matchups defensively to start the game, we had Chris Dunn on Kobe White. This game shouldn't have been as close as it was, but there have just been some outlier shooting games from a lot of teams lately against us, it feels like, where they've just made some ridiculous shots. Josh Giddey, 4 for 4 from 3. Lonzo Ball. I love Lonzo. It was great to see him starting. But this was the starting lineup. It was Lonzo, Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Matas, Buzelis, and Zach Collins. Like, this team is like finally rebuilding, it seems. And I was really thinking about it. Like, man, the Chicago Bulls. I miss the Chicago Bulls being good. Like, we need the Chicago Bulls to be good again. But it's going to take a while. At least they're going in some direction. It seems like they're pulling the plug, got rid of Vucevic and Zach LaVine. But they shot 49% from the field. We shot 52%. They shot 45% from 3. But it felt like we were due for a great three-point shooting night, and we had it. 51% deep, 19 for 37. Of course, 7 of those 19 coming from James Harden. And then the free throws, that was the biggest disparity percentage-wise. We shot 88%, 15 for 17. They shot 6 for 11 from the foul line. Zach Collins, by the way, talk about outlier games, 21, 17, and 7. What is this, Wilt Chamberlain? What the fuck is that? So, they had Lonzo shot 60% from the field and 40 from 3. So they had a good shooting game. I don't think it was like a bad defensive effort by us, but I thought we did not do a good enough job when we were switching off ball, watching their back cuts. They did a really good job exploiting our off ball switching with their back cuts. And Zach Collins made some really nice passes, which I've seen he has the ability of doing. A lot of most of these Gonzaga guys can pass. And then, other than that, defensively, like not Tyus Jones. What's his name? Trey Jones was giving Chris Dunn some problems in the first half. But overall, nothing crazy. Zubats in drop coverage most of the game. A lot of late switching where they would snake the pick and roll, go back outside. Zubats would switch onto the guard. Nothing too bad on that end. Derrick Jones Jr. thought he had a really solid game, getting chest to chest defensively, using high hands, and offensively attacking closeouts, getting downhill, and finishing around the basket with his nuclear athleticism and leaping ability. Amazing alley-oop. I think the pass was from Kawhi in that second half, but really solid game from Derrick Jones Jr., and he continues to do a great job defensively as he has all season long. Just does such a good job staying chest to chest. A lot of times he forces turnovers by being so solid one-on-one where our help doesn't need to come, and then we end up getting interceptions. So really solid stuff there from Derrick. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, and no turnovers in 23 minutes of play. He shot 6 for 9 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. 66, 40, 100 splits. We will take that, Derrick Jones Jr. Solid game for him. But our bench, this is where I felt we really were good. The bench. We outscored the Bulls 31-26 in the first. And if you look at our starters, they were all in the plus minus. Hey, this is not true that I didn't grow up with the Chicago Bulls being good. My first year, Adam, watching the Chicago Bulls was 2006. They had a valiant fight against the Miami Heat in the first round. I remember where I was for game 1. Hint, I was in the car going to Clippers Nuggets game 1 against the Nuggets. Oh, I already said that. Game 1 against the Nuggets. And then I remember watching the highlights on SportsCenter. But I like Ben Gordon and Luol Deng. The next year, they swept the Heat and then lost to the Pistons. That was my peak of my Bulls love because my mom went to school in Chicago and went to college there. So I've always had a soft spot for that city, and I really, really like it. I went in 2010, loved it. It's my second favorite city in America. Outside of Amherst, Massachusetts, of course. That's not really a city. That's a college town. And then the Bulls with Derrick Rose. So honestly, they were good. They were a playoff team like my whole life until the Jimmy Butler trade. That's when they started sucking. Because 2011, 2010, 09, they had, in my opinion, to this day, I'd never seen the Bulls win a championship. But I was talking about just being competitive, because even though the Bulls have never won a championship, I was born a couple months after MJ's shot against Byron Russell. I just missed that the Bulls are an iconic organization because of Jordan. And, it's nice to see a big market team like the Bulls, in my opinion, be good and competitive. And they just haven't been competitive. Like, we haven't had big games at the Madhouse in a while. So, yeah, but our bench, Ben Simmons, Amir Coffey, got that little light-skinned lefty duo with those two, really linking up great. And especially because the way Ben Simmons wants to play is pushing pace, getting out and running, the hit-ahead pass. Amir Coffey, really good leaking out, solid in transition, as we've seen in the years that we've had him, or should I say his whole career, because we've had him his whole career. But Ben, I just thought the offense, it's such an interesting contrast with James Harden and Ben Simmons, because James Harden ball is going to be more efficient. It's much better offense because it's James Harden versus Ben Simmons, but it's going to be a lot more stagnant, a lot more ball pounding, a lot more pick and roll, whereas Ben Simmons is going to try to quickly come up the floor, pitch, maybe go screen away, or maybe go set a screen, flow into a pick and roll. It's going to be a little bit more of the ball popping because he doesn't have that on-ball creation. So you started to see Amir Coffey benefit off that a lot. And that right wing three that Amir Coffey made when James Harden was getting loaded up on, that was just a tough shot. And that set a nice tone for him, because he's been struggling with his 3-ball on the road. Had a really good game, even was hitting turnarounds. He hit that pull-up late in the shot clock in the fourth quarter. I mean, the Brewmaster was amazing. And we've been hearing a lot of these people on Twitter, a lot of people that I actually have respect for, talking way too much shit about Amir Coffey, because now that Terrence Mann's gone, they want to hate on the other homegrown kid. I don't get it. I really don't get it at all. Amir Coffey's outperformed what we've expected of him, or in his role for me. His performance tonight was fantastic. I love the link up between him and Ben Simmons, especially we saw that Norm curl, but with Amir getting to his left hand. in that first half. That was some really good stuff. And then Bogey, his best game yet as a Clipper for me, not forcing the issue, doing a solid job defending one-on-one because, of course, we're switching 1 through 4. And when we go small in the second half, we didn't play Drew Eubanks, so we went switching 1 through 5. Everybody then has the responsibility to have to guard. Bogdanovich, he's not the best in the world, but he's trying out there. And I thought he did a good job getting some stops, forcing some misses. And the 3 ball was falling for him tonight. So that was really great to see. He ended up closing the game. He, Amir Coffey, and Ben Simmons were just fantastic. And then Nico coming in defending. So you love to see that. Like a lineup with Kawhi, and Harden out was doing great for us. So that was awesome to see. So, yeah, shout out to Amir Coffey. Ben Simmons. I've really liked the Ben Simmons experience so far. And there are times where he doesn't look at the basket, but there are also other times where he's trying to get downhill. He's initiating some contact. He took that turnaround jump hook and that turnaround fade today. Got 4 points, 4 out of his 6 points off of that. So that was awesome to see. Drew Eubanks played 4 minutes in the first half, and his hands looked so shaky. Got those Kwame hands, but he was working hard, dove for a loose ball, finished 2 buckets around the rim. He was 2 for 2 in 4 minutes with 4 points and 3 boards to go along with a block and a turnover. We went up 12 in that second quarter and then started missing and turning it over and being lazy, and they got back in it. I talked about our transition D. I talked about Kawhi not touching the ball enough. But I thought Chris Dunn was doing a solid job getting in the lane, making some plays. Derrick Jones Jr., if it's Zubac's finishing around the rim. But what really threw us off our game was that zone they went to, that matchup zone. A lot of times it started in a 2-3 look, and then they would end up going to a man mid-possession. And I think one thing that I hate about NBA teams and their approaches to zone is that they don't have a guy in the high post every play. I don't understand not having a guy in the middle of a zone every time down the floor. I think they still try to flow into pick and rolls and pick and pops, but I think to beat a zone, especially against NBA length, you got to get the ball moving. Kawhi Leonard is the most ideal person to put in the high post, and every time we did put him in the high post, he made some good reads. There was one pass he made to the strong side corner for a wide open shot. There was another one he dumped it down to Zoo. I think ideally Kawhi in the high post, Zoo in the dunker spot is the way to go, or Zoo in the high post, Derrick Jones Jr. in the dunker spot so he can go up for lobs with Kawhi and, whoever else on the wing. But Kawhi in the high post was getting us good looks. Every time a team goes zone, for me, Kawhi in the high post or Zoo in the high post every single time. And we forget that pick and roll. Because Kawhi can turn and face in that high post or just turn and shoot. But if they then do what they were doing, which was once that pass is made and gets beneath a certain point, they go to the man. Everybody guards the closest person to them. Kawhi Leonard, isolation at the nail or at the foul line, whatever you want to call it, is an advantageous situation for us. So I think that's what, we need to do that going forward. But yes, let's see. Second quarter, the Bulls outscored us 34-28. By the way, I will get to the comments at the end. I see everybody's comments. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. If you do get a super chat, I will answer it mid-live. Second half, as I mentioned, came out giving the ball to Kawhi frequently in the beginning of the quarter, and it led to some good things. James Harden got hot from 3, starting with the 2 right wing threes. And then Bogey hit 2 threes. Both teams were 8 for 11 from 3 in the third quarter. But ultimately, we ended up getting the job done. Shout out to Nico Batum as well. Finds a way to impact games somehow with 0 points because he plays good defense and always has active hands. I mean, the guy, he gets beat and he'll recover for the blocks so much. He's amazing. 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks, no turnovers on 0 for 2 shooting. His only shots were threes that were solid looks in 17 minutes. And I love that he played 17 minutes and not 10 or 12. Nico is that dude, man. When you can see that, those are my kind of guys. If you have 0 points in a game and you can affect the game positively, those are the kind of guys that are guys you need for chip teams. Nico Batum to me is in that Al Horford class where I feel like he deserves a ring, but I don't believe in deserving rings. You need to go out and get it. In Nico's case, he's a role player, needs a better situation, but he's never even played in the championship, So I mean, that was the same for Al Horford until 2022. I hope he does one day, and for us, but we'll see. The bench mob. Oh, yeah. So Zoo, because of the fact that they went to a zone, Zubats didn't get the ball as much, which is normal. I still think we could have gotten them the ball for more than 8 shots, though, but we'll take it. A double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. I wonder when the next game I'm going to say, you know what? We gave it to Zoo enough. He got enough shots up. I wonder, because it's never the case. But 5 for 8 from the field, and he's just so uber efficient. But they did play a lot of zone, so it was something. Chris Dunn had 5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers on 1 for 4 shooting, 1 for 1 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. All our starters were in the minus and the plus minus, but that doesn't mean they all had a bad game by any means. Single game plus minus is not an end all be all. I still think Chris Dunn had a positive impact in this one, as he always seems to have. The Indiana game was like his worst game of the season, like one of the one the other day. Talked about Derek Jones Jr. I mean, you get 16 points from Derek. It's fantastic. So 4 starters in double figures, and then the bench, Ben Simmons, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 4 of those being offensive rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, just 1 turnover on 3 for 8 shooting in 18 minutes. He had the highest plus minus of any Clipper with plus 15, pushing pace. I actually haven't been too impressed with his defense yet. He's standing up straight a lot, not even getting in a stance, but I love the pace pushing. I love the activity. I love the paint touches, and I love the size that he has out there on both ends of the floor. It's been really good, and I've been very happy with it, with him. Triple single, baby. Bogdanovich, 14 points, 6 assists, 1 block, 3 turnovers on 5 for 7 shooting and 4 for 5 from 3. That's the bogey, I know. Some games he's going to shoot poorly. Some games he's going to shoot well. We just hadn't seen one where he shot super well yet, so we'll take that. 25 minutes of play. Really good game from Bogey. He was a plus 13. And my player of the game was Amir Coffey. He's been hearing a lot of bullshit. I know he's seeing some of it. And he was making big shots, had a big dig from the top that got a deflection and led to a steal for us late in the game. Making big plays throughout the game. 20 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 assist, no turnovers on 7 for 11 shooting, 2 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 4 from the foul line in 27 minutes. The Brewmaster shutting up the haters. 52, 51, 88 splits for the Clippers as a team. We turned the ball over 15 times. The Bulls turned the ball over 17 times. That led to 29 points for us. But yeah, only 6 fast break points for us. So mind you, our pace, it can be slow at times. But yeah, we'll take the win. And it wasn't the best performance, but a win's a win. I think what we have to think about now is Kawhi. You know, we got 24 games left. He was on a minutes restriction. Like, we need to see him get going. I said on Locked On, I need to see 5 straight. Did I say 5? Yeah. No, I said 4 straight games or 5 straight games of 25 or more. I think I said 4 straight games of 25 or more. If he's out because of a new injury and then he's coming back and has a new minutes restriction or whatever, it's hard to accomplish that. So, yeah, that's the story. So it's going to be all about Kawhi, and our next 2 games are against the Lakers. And Luka as a Laker at the Lakers floor. I keep saying Lakers floor at Staples Center, I guess. We don't play there anymore, but God, if we can split, I'd be really happy. Just get us one of those, and I'll be really cool with that, especially with some of the wins the Lakers have gotten recently. But mainly the Denver one, honestly. The Dallas one wasn't that impressive without Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford and Anthony Davis. The Charlotte one wasn't impressive. Oh, they lost to Charlotte. So, yeah. It was the Denver game that was really impressive. I just hope he can beat. I just know Luka's going to have it out for us like he always does. And now he's a Lakers, so it's going to add fuel to the fire. But whatever. We'll see. Let's get a split. I'll be happy. Hopefully we can get Norman Powell back because we missed that guy. But anyway, when's the next live going to be? Let's see. Can I get a break? I feel like I've been really consistent this week, and I'm proud of myself for it. But nope, no break. Lakers, Minnesota tomorrow. So I'll watch that. We'll go live after that. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Peace.